to speak, okay? And I'm recording it because this is very important and it's a message for you at home, okay? So last week when we met at the Brook, I was talking about how my kind of offer had been refining itself and the sort of thing I was trying to think about offering Romsey, right? And I mentioned that I got my letter from Mill Road for People, yeah? And this is the letter that I received. And last week I mentioned that I was very happy about receiving this letter. And because it meant to me that they were now starting to open up to me and that we could start talking and working together. And I was completely off the mindset that even though we disagree, we would still be able to work together. I want to reach out to them and hopefully make them see I'm a reasonable person and I can work. We can work together towards a constructive solution. And so this is the questionnaire which I received. Can you hear all right there? It was, do you think that the amount of motor traffic on Mill Road should be reduced? If so, please indicate how you think that could be achieved. If you don't, please say why. Are you broadly in agreement with Mill Road for People's 8 goals? If no, please give reasons. If elected, what would you do to support our campaign? How do you think that rat running in South Petersfield residential streets should be stopped? If elected, how will you help that? Is there anything else that you would like to say about Mill Road for People's campaign? See, so that's what I got, and so I thought, well, I'm going to think about that. I want to write a good letter to them because we're going to take this seriously. I want them to know, that we don't have to be enemies or anything like that. And so I've been thinking about my response to them. But unfortunately, yesterday, it just was brought to my attention that actually they'd been sending around an internal email about me inside their group. And somebody shared it with me, and I read it, and this is what it said. Bear in mind, this is while they've sent me an invitation to fill out a questionnaire. This is what they're saying about me internally. It says, you will be aware that the Cambridge City Council elections are taking place. Whilst issues connected with our campaign are mostly decided by the County Council, support from the City Councillors is important too. Mill Road for People is non-party political, and we have a long-standing policy of not endorsing particular candidates. We have, however, sent round this questionnaire, which we'll be sharing. Then immediately they go on to say this. You may have noticed that Romsey Ward has an independent candidate, William Bannell. The idea of voting for an independent candidate may be attractive to some, but please be aware that Bannell is a founding member of Pam Wesson's group, which is busy delaying the implementation of Mill Road Bridge restrictions by way of an anti-democratic reactionary legal action that's currently crawling through the court system. It's also worth noting that Bannell, who lives in Great Shelford and describes himself as an independent journalist, made a video about the now defunct Sustainable Travel Zone for Rebel News, a far-right, neoconservative and racist media organisation with links to Tommy Robinson. You can read more about Mr. Bannell and his views in this informative blog, and then there's a link. Right? The link, it should be noted, is to a blog written by someone who hates me. And goes out of his way to try to discredit everything I do and say. So,
would that be Mr. Blake?
Yes, it is Mr. Blake, and I'm hoping that Mr. Blake is watching now. Now, the reason why I'm bringing all this out is because I want everybody to know how much this hurt my feelings. Right? This really, really hurt me. And not only that, it's a complete lie. It's totally made up. It's nonsense, and they're transferring it internally amongst themselves. Right, so I've been accused, and we all know the reason why they do this. Anyone with an ounce of knowledge about how politics really works knows why people make these kind of statements about people. It's because they feel threatened by them and they can't deal with them. Now, I'm being accused of being a racist. I'm being accused of making a video for Rebel News, which I didn't do. Right, and the links are being sent into their little private group, and there's 1,000 of them, they say. And I hadn't been given an opportunity to make a defence or to say, hang on a minute, no, that isn't true, right? And I wouldn't have found out about this had it not been leaked out. So this is now how Mill Road for People are operating. right? I was completely prepared to give them the benefit of the doubt and to say that I wanted to work together, reach out to them, and work towards positive, constructive solutions for everybody. Max, go in over there, or you can stand in over here, completely fine. Now, I was completely prepared to give them the benefit of the doubt, and as I said last week, I wanted to reach out to them and start trying to mend that rift that had happened. But this is completely that's ruined it. This is written by Liz Walter. Right? I want to name the name, Liz, because that's shameful. That's a shameful thing to do, and you can see the kind of level that these guys are operating at.